Hello and good morning. My name is David Milne, and I have the privilege of being able to chat with you today about two things. The first thing is how to have spiritual conversations with friends and family, and the second thing will be about the work that I do as a missionary, partly supported by a Milne Presbyterian Church. So thanks heaps for your support. It's very much appreciated. I really appreciate your prayer and other support. So thanks, Hazel, for the invitation. And like all good presentations, they're never complete unless we've got a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to just share my screen and we'll jump into a PowerPoint. So spiritual conversations. Spiritual conversations with friends and family. There's an existing connection, an existing relationship that we've got with people. It could be a long-term friendship, or it could be someone we've just met by going down to the supermarket. And there's a bit of ordinary conversation about things that we normally talk about, maybe kids, sport, interests, work, what have you. And we're listening while we're having that conversation. And people will often express real needs or real desires. And some of those real needs and desires are reasonably significant. And they're worth praying about. As I listen, I hear a need and I offer to pray. And in that moment of praying for the person, I ask permission whether I can pray. We often sense the presence of God and his peace. And I guess hearing your prayer for your friend helps them know something about your concern for them. And that often kind of shifts the spiritual atmosphere, just having a chance to pray for someone. It brings a possibility of a real encounter of God into the moment. So I often think that's really helpful. Then often after prayer, we can ask a curiosity question. So I often ask, hey, listen, I'm curious. What kind of spiritual belief has influenced you during your life? Do you have a spiritual belief? And do you still have that same belief that you had now when you're a kid? And you can open up a conversation about those kinds of things. And if people are interested to talk about spirituality, they'll engage in the conversation. If they're not, they'll just let it go and you can move on. But we'll keep praying for our friends anyway. And at some point in that process, there comes in a time where it's appropriate for you to share something of your God encounter, what God's done in your life, how God's helped you with some part of your life. Or maybe you could just grab a little notepad and draw the 3 circles. It's super simple, 3-minute 3 circles diagram that shows a person how they can connect with God and have a relationship with him in an ongoing way. I guess the important thing is to move beyond just listening into actually being willing to share something. By being willing to share what God's done in your life, there's a vulnerability on your behalf. You're offering something of yourself, and it actually improves the relationship. And in every conversation, there's always a next step. There's a next step for me in the relationship. There's a next step for me in my relationship with God. And there's a next step for my friend. So what's the next step? Is it to just catch up with them again for coffee? Or maybe the next step might be to invite them to an alpha course. I know WPCC have got an alpha course running. Or you can invite them to a discovery group. We're finding, inviting people to an opportunity to read with some others some stories of hope from the New Testament. Hopeful stories are really very, very positive, and getting some really great groups going around these discovery group questions. If you're interested in starting one of those, have a chat to Hazel or have a chat to me. I'd love to talk with you some more about that. And throughout the whole of this process, it's not going to go anywhere really without us praying. So we're praying before we have our conversations, during our conversations, and then after our conversations. So the next part, what do I do as a missionary in Australia supported by Milne Presbyterian? Well, I'm involved in training in churches in the Illawarra, in Sydney, cafes, in churches. I train in partnership with others. Here's some training that Hazel and I were doing at one point up in Greenacre. We're looking to help people be able to share their faith and start discovery groups and multiply disciples through simple, reproducible tools. Part of that training actually involves taking people out into the community to have conversations. Here's a couple of ladies from a church that was meeting in Berkeley, still meeting in Berkeley, and Ginu on the right leads a team out into Berkeley. At the uni, I am training some people in how to have conversations with students, and sometimes we use a little questionnaire that actually kicks off a conversation. Here's a guy, we've done the questionnaire, he was interested to know some more. And my friend there is sharing the gospel using 3 circles. A lot of my training's gone online. There's one group I'm training at the moment where we've got 13 people, people from Poland, Australia, New Zealand, and then a couple from the Philippines are involved as well. And that's very exciting, as they actually are all at different stages of gathering or starting their group in order to help their friends and those that they know have a chance to hear about Jesus. I'm involved in coaching. I coach people in how to train others, and I coach some people directly how to start their own groups, which I've just mentioned. Here's some students and leaders at a Sydney university where they're seeking to reach out to international students, and we're seeing some very exciting things happening as a number of student groups at one particular university cooperate together to reach the whole overseas cohort. Another part of my work is to facilitate the networking of teams across Australia so that we might actually have learning opportunities together. This is something that we run quarterly in Greenacre. We come together and we swap stories about what God's doing through us and among us in order to help each other learn to do this disciple maker multiplication, group formation, church multiplication in Australia as best as we possibly can. The last networking activity I'm going to share with you today I'm involved in is once a year we get the network leaders from about 9 networks across Australia together to encourage each other, to pray for each other and share what we're learning through our networks. And I coordinate this each year with my friend Bill Hodgson, who's at the bottom right there. And so thanks again, thanks for listening, and thanks so much for your prayer support and the financial support that you give. It's very much appreciated, and it's very encouraging and keeps us going in this mission on behalf of our Lord Jesus. So thanks again, and God bless you, and bye for now.